You will fail and you will lose money, but that's not the important part. It's how you recover from that loss that really matters. I mean, life is filled with ups and downs, hills and valleys. I mean, we all have a story. That's why today's video is applicable to just about every single one of you. But I know there's a specific someone out there that needs to hear this right now. So this one's for you. Failure really is the best teacher. Let me just give you a quick story. I was young, I was in my early 20s. I was an entrepreneur, had my skateboard, snowboard shops called Fat Man Board Shops, and I had this new dream of opening a skate park. It was gonna be called Kingpin Skate Park. I couldn't think about anything else. This is the only thing I wanted. I didn't have the funds to do it and I didn't have the approval, so I started where everybody else would, the bottom. And I started going out there and identifying location after location, and I built pro forma after pro forma. And then all of a sudden we settled on a building that we found on Market Street in Lockport, New York. It was an 11,000 square foot warehouse, and the hard part came next, the rent. How much they wanted per month. Now this didn't even include how much it would cost to build the park. So when I put all my numbers together, this whole endeavor would cost just a smidgen over $100,000. So we began. I went out there and I looked for investors, I looked for people that would do this, and we found one gentleman who was willing to become our partner and put the money in for this. But the partnership had a couple hooks. One of the hooks was the money that he was giving us was a loan, not a capital injection. But I didn't care because I needed the dream to happen. So we built this, and I'll never forget that day. It was early 2000s, Kingpin Skate Park opened. And we ran Kingpin Skate Park successfully that entire winter because we opened right before winter. I'll never forget, while we were building it, I remember walking outside, taking a break from the building, and it was snowing out. And I knew that meant one thing, and that meant we're gonna open right when kids can't go out and skate. And we did. The first year was great, but then it was followed by a summer. Now what I failed to realize is how bad business would get in the summer. See, everybody could go outside and skate for free. Why would they pay $5 or $10 to skate at the skate park when they could do it for free? So summer was brutal. But then we hit another winter, and that was a success, followed by another complete failure of a summer. The end of the story was we ran out of money. The business had to close. Now I did get lucky and I ended up finding a buyer for all the ramps for just enough money to pay that partner, that investor, back all their money. But we made nothing. Matter of fact, I lost a whole bunch of money because that lease, remember I mentioned that lease, the lease didn't end just because we didn't make it. I had to make those lease payments every single month for the whole duration of that term. I failed. And this was such a big dream. How could that happen? Well, that happens. But you know what I learned? I learned one of the most important things. And the whole time I was trying to build this skate park, everything fought me. Everything was difficult. Nothing came easy. Nothing just happened. Everything was like pushing a boulder up a mountain. When that happens for you, it probably means that it's not right. When everything's difficult, sometimes that's a sign from above. We need to listen to our gut. We need to listen and see the signs. But I'm not the only one that's gone through this. Let me read a couple captions from some famous people that you know, like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan once said, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I had been entrusted to take a game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeeded." Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Napoleon Hill said, "When defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound. Rebuild those plans and set sail once more towards your converted goal." I really relate to that one. Remember, I said everything fought me with that skate park, but it was because I wasn't meant to do that. I went on to sit on a board and did a really amazing thing, and that was open a free skate park for all the kids in Lockport. And that skate park nothing fought us. But I had nothing to gain, and all I had was giving. Let me talk about 3 other people that you probably have heard of: Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, and Doris Christopher. All 3 of these people were entrepreneurs, dreamers, visionaries that all had a big dream. But what else they had was failure. Lots of failure. Walt Disney took his idea for Disneyland to banks and was turned down by everyone, so much so that he almost abandoned his dream. Can you imagine a world without Disneyland and Walt Disney World? I mean, what would we have as kids to grow up to love? We wouldn't have had Mickey Mouse. We wouldn't have had Donald Duck. None of that would have existed. How about Ray Kroc? What if Ray Kroc just gave up when the times got tough? When he was trying to build a burger shop, but he realized he needed to be in the real estate business. And to get into the real estate business, he needed money. He needed money to pay his staff. He needed money to come up with the Ronald McDonald marketing campaign. Doris Christopher had the dream for Pampered Chef, but she had no money, couldn't get a loan from a bank. What do these 3 individuals have in common besides the fact that they all failed numerous times? And some of them almost failed to the point where they said, "I'm not doing this." Every single one of them turned to this little known secret that the wealthiest families have known about throughout history. To fund their dreams, they took loans from their own private banks. They took loans from their whole life insurance policies. Now remember, all 3 of those individuals had whole life policies that they took out to protect their families. But when they got told no over and over and over again, they turned to an unconventional method. They borrowed from the insurance companies to start their dreams. We all know where Disneyland and Walt Disney World, we all know where Ray Kroc and Ronald McDonald went. And most of you know that Doris Christopher created Pampered Chef and sold it for billions of dollars to Warren Buffett. What if all of them just accepted failure and quit? But they didn't. They continued on. They pushed forward. They were consistent and persistent, and they did not accept the word no. But they also went to the unconventional side and just found a way to make it happen. I'm sure some of you are failing at your dreams. I'm sure some of you are hitting those walls. I'm sure some of you feel like you're pushing the boulder uphill like I was. Maybe it's just you're in the wrong place. Maybe the dream just needs to be modified and converted like Napoleon Hill said. Maybe all you need is your own private banking system. Sounds so simple, right? But some of you have not taken that step, and that's where you need to start. Your dreams aren't going anywhere. Some of them are more timely than others, but what you need to do is you need to go back to the beginning and you need to realize, in order to make your dreams happen, you need to take responsibility for them, which means you need to start today with capitalizing your own banking system. When is the best time to plant a tree? You've heard this one before, 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Right now. When's the best time to start your own banking system? Of course it was 20 years ago. And the next best time is right now for whatever dollar amount you can save. That's how I started. You see, I've done lots of businesses. I've had some businesses go very easily, and I've had other businesses completely fail and turn me into dust. And when I say that, meaning I went right to the bottom. I've had businesses take me so low that I literally said, I'm never doing another business again. I'm just gonna be normal. I'm gonna go get a job like everybody else, and I'm gonna stop dreaming. And then I woke up and realized I am a dreamer. I am a visionary, and that is what you are. So that means you can't give up, you can't listen to other people, and you definitely can never accept the word no. But also accept that failure is just part of the journey. You are gonna fail, probably multiple times. And each time you fail, realize that what you learned in that failure is the single most important thing that could have come out of that. Because without that knowledge, without that feeling, without that failure, you'd never know how to succeed. So now let me bring you full circle to my story with that Kingpin skate park that failed. What would have been different if I had started my own private banking system? What if I had funded the building of that skate park and funded all of the expenses of that skate park through my own banking system? Boy, things would have been different. Because the loan that I took from that partner that we brought in was at 10%. Imagine if every payment I made back was 10%, and we made 2 years worth of payments to him at 10% interest. And then we sold all the ramps and all the equipment, and we paid him back 100% of his money. I walked away with nothing. He walked away with all of his money plus interest on that money. And yeah, the idea could have went better, but he didn't lose. But I could have kept all that money had I done things differently, had I started earlier, had I just put away a little bit of money to capitalize my own banking system. But in hindsight, the way that that business worked out is exactly the way it was supposed to work out. It was a dream, a vision. It was a lot of work, but I learned a lot from that failure. With or without the banking system doesn't matter. It just would have been better if I was the bank on that loan. But because I wasn't the bank and because it was a complete and utter loss and cost me a lot of money and stress, I realized that that wasn't the path I was supposed to be on, and it led me to the right path. It led me to where I'm at today, and I could go on with failure after failure, from the TV show with HGTV that didn't work to all the other businesses that didn't work. I couldn't be here without the failures. And the same is true for you. You will never get where you're going without going through the hard stuff, the failures. So buckle up, get ready for the ride, and to make it a little smoother, capitalize your own banking system. If you want to learn more about that, then just click the link in the description and it will be a video showing you exactly what Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, Doris Christopher, and so many others have done throughout history. They all became their own bank, and that's what you should do. And I got one last thing for some of you that really need to hear this. You know, there was a story of a father and a boy, and the father told his son about a story of a goose, and there was some eggs. Now, the goose laid golden eggs, and the father just asked a simple question to his son. He said, "Son, would you prefer to have these golden eggs, or would you prefer to have the goose that laid them?" Without thinking, the little boy said, "Well, Dad, I'd like to have the goose because the goose can lay more golden eggs. That just makes sense." And the father said, "Absolutely right, son. Of course you would do that. Everybody would just take the goose that lays the golden eggs." And the son was confused, and he said, "Okay, why'd you ask me this question? I mean, if you already knew the answer and you knew what I was going to say." But the father said, "You know, it's funny that every single person I'd ask that question to would say the same thing you did. They would all choose the goose. But yet in real life, people don't choose the goose, they choose the eggs, the golden eggs. The golden eggs are the houses that you've always wanted, the cars you've always wanted, all the material things from the clothing and the furniture and the jewelry that you've always wanted. You see, people constantly focus on the golden eggs, but they forget about the goose that laid the eggs. That goose is you. You need to invest in yourself first and foremost, because you are the only goose in your life that will lay golden eggs. Your golden eggs are your dreams, your houses, your cars. You can't have those without the hard work. So you might as well level up. Get the education, get the knowledge that you need to get where you are so you can produce more golden eggs in your life. Because the more you pour into yourself, the more money you spend on yourself, the more mentors you get, the more education you get, the more golden eggs you will be able to produce in your life. So don't focus on the egg, focus on the goose by looking in the mirror and staring right back at yourself, because you are the golden goose. With that being said, folks, all I need you to do now is click this golden goose. It's that subscribe button, and right above there's a little bell. Almost missed that. Smash that bell so you're notified every single time we put out new footage. Well, I hope this helped some of you, and I hope it really helped the couple that really needed to hear this. And if you like this video, check this one out right here, The Secrets of the Wealthy. We'll see you on the next one.